The boss is finally old enough to retire from the company. On his last day of work, he ordered a farewell party for himself. The boss wanted everyone to express their good feeling about him by writing on the farewell card, so later he could remember how his staff missed him. Most people are writing standard phrases like, "Without you, the company will never be the same," "We will always remember you," etc. Obviously, the boss was not satisfied. "I need something from the bottom of your heart, something really touching, you know. Okay, John, you have been working with me for the last 20 years. You are my best staff. I am retiring now. What do you have to say?" Slowly but firmly, John wrote, "The best news in 20 years. When the expensive printer or photocopier in an office began print black lines on every page, the office manager called a local repair shop, where a friendly man informed him that the unit probably needed only to be cleaned. Because the store charged $100 for such cleaning, he said, the manager might try reading the manual and doing the job himself. Pleasantly surprised by his candor, the office manager asked, "Does your boss know that you discourage business?" "Actually, it's my boss's idea," the employee replied. "We usually make more money on repairs if we let people try to fix things themselves first." A big city lawyer went duck hunting in a small village. She took a shot and hit a duck, but it landed in a farmer's field on the other side of a fence. As she started climbing over to retrieve it, an elderly farmer drove up on his tractor and called out, "Where do you think you're going?" The lawyer adjusted her jacket and said, "I shot a duck and it landed in this field. I'm going to get it." The old farmer, Peter, shook his head. "This is my property, and you're not coming over here." The lawyer scoffed. "Listen, old man, I'm one of the best trial lawyers on this side of the planet. If you don't let me get that duck, I'll sue you and take everything you own." Peter chuckled. "Well now, missy, seems like you don't know how we settle disputes around here. We use the 3-kick rule." The lawyer folded her arms. "And what exactly is that?" Peter grinned. "Since this is my land, I get to go first. I kick you 3 times, then you kick me 3 times. We keep going till someone gives up." The lawyer sized up the old farmer. He looked slow and wiry, no match for her. Confident, she nodded. "Fine, let's do this." Peter slowly climbed down from his tractor, stretched a little, then delivered his first kick, his steel-toed boot landing square in the lawyer's groin. She crumpled to her knees, gasping. The second kick hit her midsection, knocking the wind, and possibly breakfast, right out of her. The third sent her face first into a fresh cow pie. Groaning, she wiped her face, clenched her jaw, and slowly pushed herself up. With every bit of strength left, she glared at the farmer. "All right, old man, now it's my turn." Peter smiled, dusted off his hands, and climbed back onto his tractor. "Nah, I give up. You can have the duck." A woman visits the doctor, concerned about a strange red mark on her stomach. The doctor examines it carefully and then grins. "By any chance, do you have a boyfriend who goes to Wisconsin University?" She furrows her brows. Why do you ask?" The doctor chuckles. "I'm not just a doctor, I'm also an amateur detective. This mark? It looks like someone's been pressing against you while wearing a sweater with a big embroidered letter. My guess? A W from a Wisconsin sweater. Probably your boyfriend's. The rough stitching must have been rubbing against your skin." She nods, impressed. "Wow, Doc, not bad at all." The doctor smirks. "So, am I right? Your boyfriend's from Wisconsin?" She grins. "Nope, but my girlfriend is from Michigan." A farmer had puppies to sell and made a sign to advertise them. As he hammered the last nail to a post, he felt a tug on his overalls. Looking down, he saw a little boy. "Mister," the boy said, "I want to buy one of your puppies." The farmer wiped his brow. "These puppies are from good stock and cost quite a bit." The boy hesitated, then dug into his pocket, pulling out some change. "I've got 39 cents. Is that enough to see them?" The farmer smiled. "Sure." He whistled, and out came Dolly, followed by 4 lively puppies. The boy's eyes sparkled, but then he noticed something else, a smaller puppy struggling to keep up. "I want that one," the boy said, pointing to the runt. The farmer knelt down. "Son, you don't want that puppy. He won't run and play like the others." The boy rolled up his trouser leg, revealing a steel brace. "I don't run so well either. He'll need someone who understands." The farmer, eyes moist, handed the puppy to the boy. "No charge," he said softly. "Love doesn't cost a thing." A man walks into a bar and briskly orders 12 of the most expensive whiskey shots. The bartender lines 12 up shot glasses and fills them up. The man quickly downs all 12 of them back to back and taps the bar. Again. The bartender looks a little surprised, but lines of 12 more shots. The man quickly downs all 12 shots and hits the bar. Again. The bartender, visibly concerned, fills up 12 more shots and lines them on the bar. The man quickly downs all 12 shots and hits the bar. Again. The bartender says, "Hold up, man. You gotta slow down." The man says, "Trust me, if you had what I had, you'd be drinking this fast too." "My God," says the bartender, quietly leaning over the bar. He asks, "What do you have?" $1. 2 blondes drive to the local mall to do some shopping. When they come back to their vehicle, they find that they had locked their keys in the car. One of the blondes tries to break into the car while the other one watches. Finally, the first blonde says, "Darn, I can't get in the car." The other blonde replies, "Keep trying. It looks like it is going to rain and the top is down." At the end of a semester covering a vast range of philosophical topics, an eccentric professor gave his students a final exam with just one question. He walked into the classroom, placed a chair on his desk, and wrote on the board, "Using everything we've learned this semester, prove that this chair does not exist." Immediately, students launched into action. Pens scratching, erasers flying, pages filling with deep philosophical arguments. Some wrote over 30 pages in an hour, citing Descartes, Kant, and a dozen others. But one student turned in his exam in under a minute. Weeks later, when grades were posted, the class was stunned to see he had earned an A. His entire answer: "What chair?" A backpacker finds a tiny village tucked away in the mountains with one tiny pub. He walks into the pub, and there are all these old men just sitting around in silence. So the backpacker orders a beer and finds himself a seat. A blonde, a brunette, and a redhead walk into a restaurant. They're having a great time, so they leave their waitress a massive tip. Overjoyed, the waitress leans in and whispers, "I have a secret. In the women's restroom, there's a magical mirror. If you tell it something true, you'll be rewarded. But if you lie, poof, you disappear." Intrigued, the 3 women rush to the restroom. The brunette steps up first, smirking. "I think I'm the most beautiful person in this restaurant." Poof! $1 million appears in her hands. The redhead, not to be outdone, confidently declares, I think I'm the smartest person in this restaurant. Instantly, a Lamborghini key materializes in her purse. Finally, the blonde, practically bouncing with excitement, steps up. I think, poof, she's never seen again. I was at the checkout at Walmart, minding my own business, when the cashier rang up my total, $46.64. I handed her a crisp $50 bill. She looked me dead in the eye, gave me back $46.64, and continued scanning items like a professional. Me. I think there's a mistake. Her, huffing dramatically. Sir, I am educated. I know what I'm doing. She pushed the money back at me like I was trying to scam her. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I gave it back. She, once again, pushed it right back at me with extra attitude. I shrugged, picked up my bags, and walked out with $46.64 in my pocket. A state worker and the genie. A state government employee was stuck in his office, bored out of his mind. In an attempt to kill time, he started rummaging through an old filing cabinet. Buried under years of forgotten paperwork, he found a dusty brass lamp. This would look great on my mantel, he thought, and took it home. That evening, as he polished the lamp, a genie suddenly appeared. You have 3 wishes, the genie declared. Excited, the man blurted out, I wish for an ice-cold soda right now. Poof! A soda appeared on his desk. He grabbed it and chugged it down. Now thinking more clearly, he made his second wish. I want to be on an island full of beautiful, passionate women. Poof! He found himself on a tropical island surrounded by stunning women giving him sultry looks. Grinning, he made his third and final wish. I wish I never had to work again. Poof! He was back in his government office. I walked into Starbucks with a buy one, get one free coupon for a grande latte. The barista studied it like it was the Declaration of Independence, then turned to a chalkboard that read, buy one, get one free. Her eyes lit up. Oh, so that means they're both free. She happily handed me 2 free lattes. I didn't argue. I just walked out, sipping my victory. One day, I was strolling along the beach with some friends when one of them gasped dramatically, pointed ahead, and yelled, Look! A dead bird. Another friend immediately looked up at the sky and asked, Where? I had no words. My brother was house hunting and asked the real estate agent which direction was north. He explained that he didn't want the sun waking him up every morning. The agent furrowed her brow. Wait, does the sun rise in the north? My brother, thinking she was joking, laughed. She was not joking. He gently explained that the sun rises in the east. And, has been doing that for quite a while now. She shook her head and said, Oh, I don't keep up with all that stuff. I had to walk away. Back when I worked in a 24/7 call center, a guy called and asked, What hours are you open? Me, Sir, we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Him, Okay, but is that Eastern or Pacific time? I stared at my screen for a solid 10 seconds before replying, Pacific. He thanked me and hung up, probably feeling proud of himself. My friends and I went to buy beer for a party. The store had a 10% discount on cases. Since we were professionals, we grabbed 2 cases. The cashier did some quick mental math. Oh, 2 cases. That's 10% plus 10%. So you get 20% off. We all nodded and quietly accepted our new financial advisor. At the airport, I couldn't find my luggage, so I went to the lost baggage counter. My bags never showed up. The lady smiled reassuringly. Don't worry, sir. I'm a trained professional. Now, has your plane landed yet? I blinked. Nope, we're still circling the airport. The pilot told us we're third in line to land. Her. Oh. Okay, well, come back after you land. Sure thing, genius. While working at a pizza place, I watched a man order a small pizza to go. Cook. Would you like that cut into 4 or 6 slices? The man thought long and hard before replying, better make it 4. I don't think I'm hungry enough to eat 6 inches. Bless their hearts. One morning, John's tennis elbow was acting up, so he decided to visit the doctor. When he arrived at the office, the receptionist handed him a urine sample cup. John frowned. A urine test? For my elbow? After some grumbling, he complied. 15 minutes later, the doctor called him in. Hey John, that tennis elbow still bothering you? John raised an eyebrow. Oh, the receptionist told you. Nope, the doctor said, proudly. I've got a brand new urinalysis machine that tells me everything. John scoffed. That's nonsense. But the doctor insisted. Take these meds and come back in 2 weeks with another sample. Before leaving, the receptionist handed John another specimen cup. The prank. 2 weeks later, John decided to put the so-called magic machine to the test. He peed in the cup. His wife and teenage daughter did too. Then, just for fun, he added a personal contribution. On the way to the doctor's office, he stopped in the garage and dripped a little oil from his car's dipstick into the mix. He shook it up with a grin and handed it over at the clinic. This time, it took 30 minutes before the doctor called him in, looking furious. The second the door closed, the doctor slammed the report down and growled, All right, smartass. Your daughter's pregnant, your wife has an STD, your car's about to throw a rod, and if you don't stop jacking off, your tennis elbow is never going to heal. Suddenly, one of the men shouts, Number 4, and the whole room erupts with laughter. The backpacker is surprised by this, but then the laughter dies down, and he goes back to sipping his pint. Then another one of them shouts, Number 21, and once again, everybody has a good laugh. The backpacker turns to someone and asks what's going on. You see, we're a bit isolated out here, the man says. We all know each other's jokes so well, we decided to give them all a number to save time when we want to tell them. The backpacker gets a mischievous look on his face. He stands up and shouts, Number 1001! It was like an earthquake had hit. The whole room reverberated with the men's voices, some of them slapping their thighs and almost falling off their chairs. As the laughter died down, some of them were pressing their hands to their chests, just to make sure they weren't having a heart attack. The backpacker turns to the man next to him and says, So, is that one of the good ones? The man says, Oh no, it's just that we'd never heard that one before. A little old lady checked into a motel on her 70th birthday, feeling a bit lonely. I deserve some fun, she thought, flipping through the phone book. She spotted a full-page ad for Tender Tony, a chiseled, muscular man flexing seductively. Thick, wavy hair, long, powerful legs, 6-pack abs, and a dazzling smile. She was pretty sure you could bounce a quarter off his backside. What the heck? Nobody will ever know, she thought, and dialed the number. A smooth, velvety voice answered. Good evening, ma'am. How may I assist you? Oh my, he sounded dreamy. Afraid she'd lose her nerve, she blurted, Listen, I need a massage. No, scratch that. I want excitement. Fun. Something a little wild. Bring whatever you've got. Let's make it a night to remember. What do you say? There was a brief pause. Then the voice calmly replied, Ma'am, that sounds absolutely fantastic, but you need to press 9 for an outside line. A wealthy New York art collector gets a call from his attorney. Saul, I've got some good news and some bad news. Saul sighs. Jack, I've had a terrible day. Let's start with the good news. The lawyer clears his throat. Well, I met with your wife today, and she told me she invested just $5,000 in 2 paintings. She believes they'll be worth between $15 and $20 million. And honestly, I think she might be right. Saul's mood instantly brightens. Holy cow, that's incredible. My wife is a genius. You've just turned my whole day around. All right, I can handle the bad news. What is it? The lawyer pauses. The paintings are of you and your secretary.